welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Netball Show once again for another week, the on-the-couch version of the BFNL Netball Show as we take the show on the road this week. I'm Sean Kelly, with me as always, Matty Wiltshire. Matty, welcome, mate.
Great to be back, mate. I always love it. But I've still got to apologise in advance today. I've
well,
got a very croaky throat, come down with a cold, so if my voice does cut out halfway through, that's the reason. So look at
sound like something out of The Godfather, mate.
Yeah,
Hey, Bruno!
I'll be like that at the end of it. So
that's okay. That's not a bad thing at all. As we said, a bit casual today. We're resting on our laurels a bit because the show's going okay. I had an ANZ Championship netballer email me during the week saying she watches the netball show. So we're a little bit happy with ourselves now. So we're going to sit back here and do a bit of on-the-couch kind of stuff. But we're still going to have some huge interviews today. We've got two of them. We've got Sunbury's Hayley Mackie that's going to join us on the show. We've also got Lakers captain and Regional State League captain as well, Emma Burton, as we preview this weekend's RSL Champions Challenge in Melbourne. Before we do that, let's have a look at last week's games, starting with the game out at Sunbury. Darley taking on Sunbury. It was Sunbury winning 55-22. Ruth Smith, 41 goals for Sunbury on the weekend. Emily has a party, 14. Steph Deutscher, 15 goals for Darley. Better players for Sunbury, Mackie, Smith and Chickas. And for Darley, Marshall, Tale Bari, and Tani Lopes. A really solid win by Sunbury. They obviously came in with a Darley side that had a bit of confidence behind them, having knocked over Rhiannon. Couple of changes for Darley this week. Tani Lopes came in, who of course won the 19 under best and fairest last year. Came into play in the A grade game with Coach Leah Mathy not playing, but it didn't matter with Sunbury too much because they were pretty damn good.
yeah, after last week's performance, beating Rhiannon at our top side, I thought Darley would actually bring it up a bit more to Sunbury, but Sunbury being the championship side they are, last year's premiers, just really played a fantastic game and are coming to some really good form coming into the last couple of rounds coming into finals. So Sunbury, definitely put the foot down for this one, winning by over 30 goals over a Darley team who I thought were much on the improve, but Sunbury have definitely shut down their finals chances again. They're probably sort of getting a bit excited about finals. Darley thinking they could get there, but Sunbury I think have just closed that door a little bit more.
I think the door's well and truly closed now, which we'll talk about later on in the show when we look back at one of the other games. But what impressed me about Sunbury was the way they got it done without Sophie Gunn in the side. She's obviously a fantastic shooter, Sophie, but she's out at the moment. She's playing ANL for the Tassie Spirits, so she can't be with the Sunbury girls. But the job that Ruth Smith's doing in goals, for somebody who's undersized, she is an absolutely fantastic player. And to score 41 goals against players 4 and 5 inches taller than, it was a fantastic job, and she is a player to watch as we get in towards the finals this year because she could be one of those game breakers.
Yeah, no, her and the two of them in the goals are going to be very, very hard to stop once they get to the
Right.
final, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
It's going to be a very interesting scenario when Sophie comes back in after the ANL to see exactly what happens with the Sunbury shooters. East Point taking on Ballarat on the weekend. East Point a solid win, 60-27. Emma Ryan and Lauren Dew, 23 goals each for East Point. Bethany Van Rossum, 18 for Ballarat. Monica Van Dyke, Lauren Dew and Marcel Geljon, the best players for the Roos. It was Beth Van Rossum and Jessica Luke for Ballarat. You look at the scoreline and you think it's a normal Ballarat game. They've gone in, they've got rolled over, not much has happened. It's actually not that case because on Anzac Day, it was a 63-20 result. Shows us that Ballarat are on the improve. These young girls have now had 12 games together. They're starting to get it going again, and they're starting to really show signs of what they're going to be in 12 to 18 months' time.
Yeah, they're starting to show a bit more confidence, obviously working together. Like coming into the start of the year, a few 19 and under players were obviously a bit nervous coming into the A grade play against all of the top players around the region. So that sort of experience will give them confidence, I think, which is only going to help with their game. And look, them playing together for the rest of this year and hopefully the start of next year, they'll start getting some wins on the board just from gelling together really well. But East Point, a fantastic win there. It's one that they definitely needed just to give themselves a bit of a relief for that final spot. So I think it's 3 games now that they've got clear of 7. So it's a game they definitely need to win, and it's also helping out with their percentage with a fair win there as well. So well done to the East Point girls.
That's the first step for East Point. They've now locked in the finals appearance. Now in the coming weeks, they get the chance to show us what they can do against finals opposition. So some very interesting games coming up for East Point as they're in 5th at the moment. They try and work their way up the ladder, which can be done. They can get up to 3rd if they like. I don't quite think they'll get into that top 2. It depends on what happens Obviously, there's a big game this week that we'll talk about that could open up those top 3 spots, but East Point, big chance to finish as high as 3rd or 4th this year, so interesting to see how they go. Speaking of sides looking to finish as high as they can, Lake Wendouree 61-12, a huge win on the weekend for the Lakers. Capascan 29 goals for the Lakers. Candice Page 21 goals, and Chrissy James 11. Keep getting Candice and Chrissy mixed up. I've done that all season long. Back a smash. Taylor Drevinsek 8 goals, leading the way for the Cobras. Important win for Lake Wendouree because it's a percentage booster. They're a game behind Rhiannon, but they've got a better percentage than Rhiannon. So it's going to be an interesting week this week because Rhiannon plays Sunbury. Lake Wendouree plays Sebastopol. Lake Wendouree win that this week, they can go into the top 3 exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, no, next week obviously going to be a big week for them, but they're stepping in the right direction with last week's win. Obviously, Romsey, not what am I trying to say?
I've got no idea.
I've put them down a bit, the Lakers. I haven't been giving them much support, but Romsey's definitely, I think, shut me up and showed me where to go. So, very well done there by the Lakers. So, well done, Romsey. Very, very well done. So, a big win, and it's one that they definitely need just for a bit of confidence. And as you said, getting to that sort of top 3 spot, which is where you want to finish around finals time.
Importantly for the Lakers as well, they had their full squad side in last week, so they had some depth and they had some rotation options. Katie Williams was back after running the Gold Coast Marathon. Emma Burton was back after the Singapore holiday, so they had a good 9-10 quality players that they could rotate on the court, which will make all the difference going forward in the season. If they can have that best lineup together constantly for the rest of the year, they will go places indeed. Melton South taking on Rhiannon, and Melton South thought they were a chance in this one given Rhiannon's form last week, and a lot of us thought that Melton South were a chance as well. Didn't happen. Rhiannon wiped them actually. It was 19-5 at quarter time. It was 65-30 at the end of the game. Emma Henry fantastic with 42 goals. Cass Peace, Emma Henry and Ruby Parry the better players for Rhiannon. Reese Carter-Coleman and Faith Mataseni 12 goals each. For Melton South, Linda Nicello, Solly Ropity, they're better players. This was an important win for Rhiannon. The important play that wasn't mentioned, those best players in this game, was Narelle Perkins. She stepped into the defensive half. Obviously, Erin Riley's still not there. Amy Elliott's still not there last week, so they're still missing their guns. They're 2 big players they had out against Ali the week before. Narelle stepped in, did the job at GK, allowed Emma Henry to play forward. She scored 42 goals and was the difference in the game. It just shows what happens when you've got those players with the versatility, and a bit of confidence comes through as well.
Yeah, they've got so much depth there in the Rhiannon side. They have so many players can play in so many positions, which really does help when you've got them couple of players missing. So once they get these 2 players back, they don't have so many people to choose from. It's a very good option to have for Kate there as our coach. And look, I tipped this last week as the game of the round, I think. So I thought it was going to be obviously a lot closer with Rhiannon having them 2 players out and Melton South being a bit inconsistent. If they come to play in when they played their best, they obviously didn't on the weekend, but if they played their best, I thought it was going to be a very close game. But all credit to Rhiannon, a fantastic 35 goal win there, and that'll give them the confidence they needed after their loss last week.
The super coach pulled one out of the hat too, once again, old Katie. She brought in an assistant coach to help out her shooters on the weekend, and made a fair bit of difference too. When you see Sherelle McMahon stride onto your side of the court, you tend to walk a bit taller, don't you?
And the experience and knowledge that she has is a asset that every team would definitely want.
Oh, you're learning from the best shooter in the world.
Exactly.
It's fantastic for Rhiannon, to have that kind of backup. But the game that we thought was going to be the game of the round, and in the end, the one that has sorted the finals race out, Sebastopol taking on North Ballarat City. The Burrows started slowly and couldn't catch up. It was 14-7 at quarter time. Rhiannon Bannon was playing an absolute stinker by that stage, and in the end, that's where the result lasted, because it was 53-37 in the way of North Ballarat City. Stacey McCartan's listed as scoring 32 goals on our sheet. Now, we don't think Stacey McCartan scored 32 goals on the weekend. We think it might have been Kelly Richardson. We've got Stacey on our sheet. Tony Nestor also 21 goals. Hayley Fiddler, Olivia Jones and Stacey McCartan, the best players for North City. Georgia Can, 29 goals for Sebastopol, was their best player on the court. Caitlin Ashmore and Erin Atherton, good for the Burrows as well. But 3 games now between North City in 6th and the Burrows in 7th. Finals race over.
Yeah, this was one that Sebast definitely had to win, and I thought one that North Ballarat might slip up just with going off their current form. They've had a few losses, and Sebast...
Gina McCartan didn't play either, so...
Without Gina as well. So, and Sebast just really needed to win that game. I thought they would have been going in as hungry as ever, but North were just too good. They are a fantastic side. They've had the best year so far, which I'm not too sure what it is. They're obviously missing... who did the knee reconstruction?
Jordan Bibby.
Jordan Bibby from last year, but... Even saying that, they've still got some fantastic shoes there to replace her. So I think they've been a bit inconsistent so far this year, but if they keep on going with this form, they're going to be a red hot chance to follow.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, it helps when you've got someone who's dominant through the centre court, as Stacey McCartan, who did a fantastic job lifting her team to victory on the weekend. So good a job that we've decided she gets the gong this week. She's the Stockland-Wendouree Player of the Week. Well done, Stace. We did initially think that it was because you scored 32 goals, but when we found that out, we thought, well, no, look, she played centre court and she dominated from what we were told. So the score stands, Stacey McCartan, Stockland-Wendouree Player of the Week. Well done to you, Stace.
Yeah, well done, Stacey. You also got 32 goals to your name as well, which is
yeah, exactly right. You take that anytime you like. Speaking of interviews, it's time to head out and catch up with someone who played their 200th game recently in the BFL, Hayley Mackie from the Sunbury Football Netball Club. We didn't quite get her after 200th. We got her after game 201, but we got her to appear on the Netball show. Here she is, Hayley Mackie from Sunbury.
We're here with Sunbury Centre Court, Hayley Mackie, after her 201st game. Hayley, sorry we missed the milestone last week, but congratulations on 200 games.
Thank you.
How did it feel? Obviously, you spent a lot of time at Sunbury and then came back last year. The time that you had away, how was the difference in the club when you came back?
I think the club was a lot more professional. When I left, we sort of were having a transition of players and coaching staff, and when we came back, it was a very professional team and a lot of high-quality players.
And obviously a fantastic season last year, going through the season with the first premiership since your first year in the league as well.
Yes, well, I've been in, I think, about 8 losing grand finals for Sunbury, so this is the whole reason I came back, was to get one, and probably the reason why I'm back here again.
Obviously the page has been well and truly turned since then, but we're starting to get towards that finals run again. You're a game clear on top of the ladder once again. How does it feel this year compared to last year, knowing what you've gone through?
I think similar to what it was last year, just because we do have new combinations and girls playing in, and obviously Sophie having games off in A&L, so still getting used to each other, still getting all of our systems moving. So yeah, it still feels like we're building. We're not quite there just yet.
You mentioned Sophie having games off. Obviously she didn't play today against Darley, but real youth movement in the front court with 2 18-year-olds and a 20-year-old through the attack.
Yeah, definitely try and keep up with them, but it's lots of fresh legs, very quick, so we do have that pace element when we don't have the height, so we're able to mix it up a little bit more.
Good disciplined game today against the Darley side that had the potential to be a danger game after their win last week and kind of the defence they played, but you guys just really slowed it down and played the game on your own terms.
Yeah, we were a little bit nervous after obviously the upset the week before, so we weren't quite sure what was going to happen and who we were going to have up against us. Sorry, everyone behind me is doing...
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, really inappropriate stuff. So, so we were a little bit nervous as to what we're going to be up against, but we were really glad with the effort that we put in today.
Oh, fantastic win. Good luck for the rest of the season, Hayley. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hayley Mackie from the Sunbury Football Netball Club after her 201st game for the Lions. It's not just BFNL competition netball this weekend. The league's involved as well, obviously. Regional State League side's up and about. The Champions Challenge in Melbourne this week, where they take on the Alberton Football Netball League, the Bendigo Football Netball League, and the Hampton Football Netball League for the title of Regional State League champions for Victoria in 2014. Big day on Sunday at the Knox Netball Centre. There's 3 round robin games starting at 9:15am. So there's a 9:15, a 9:45 and a 10:15. 12-minute halves, 1 minute in between half-time, and that's what they trained on more this week than anything else. Kate actually getting everything she wants to say out in a minute, which will be nigh on impossible. Yeah. So I'm very interested to see how that goes this weekend. But of course, last year they played in a similar tournament, became runners-up in the state as well, played on Hisense arenas. So they obviously come through as one of the top 2 teams out of the round-robin stage. They're playing the grand final, which is being played after the A&L game between the Victoria Flames and the Victoria Fury at the Waverley Netball Centre on Sunday afternoon. So we wish all the players the absolute best of luck in that. We'll be there as well. Of course, the netball show will be there, so we'll get some vision, we'll get some footage, and we'll have it for you next week. And also keep in touch with the BFL's Facebook and Twitter page all day, because we'll have all the updates from the Champions Challenge all day on Sunday. So keep us at Ballarat FNL or the Ballarat Football Netball League on Facebook. Keep an eye on us and we'll have that for you. But we did preview it a little bit further because we went out to training on Tuesday night and we caught up with the RSL captain, Emma Burton, back in the country, thankfully. Good to have her back just in time for this. She previewed the RSL Champions Challenge for us. We're here on the Netball Show this week with BFL Regional State League captain Emma Burton. Emma, welcome to the Netball Show.
Thank you.
Now we're here at RSL training. How was it? Obviously getting the band back together for what feels like the first time in ages.
Yeah, it was really good. It was good to get back with the girls and have a good training session.
Yep.
And have a good run around again. So it's good. It's fun to play with the different girls again and get back together.
Similar structure for the Champions Challenge than what you faced in the Premiers Challenge last year, where you've got the round robin competition in the morning, and then if you're good enough, the long wait going through before the final. I suppose it's now not a new thing. There's a bit of condition going into last year for it.
Yeah, it will be a big day for us, especially when we play on Saturday and then going back it up again on Sunday. So it's all going to just come down to preparation. Like, we've got a good squad, we've got plenty of combinations we can run with, so it'll just be, I suppose, a bit up to Kate as well to make sure she goes through those combinations and keeps everyone fresh, I suppose. So in the hope we do make the grand final, we can run it out.
And it's kind of a weird day because you don't get much chance to feel out your opposition beforehand. You're basically going in 3 games fairly cold. You will have a little bit of knowledge on something, given that you've faced each of the 3 teams in the last 18 months. Alberton Footy League and Hampton Footy League in last year's Premiers Challenge, and then Bendigo in last year's Interleague as well. So whilst there's a little bit of familiarity there, it's a tough tournament.
It is. We really don't know much at all about the competition because we obviously don't know if their teams have changed or who they've got and that kind of stuff. And being so far away and the RSL comps did finish at the start of the year, so we haven't really got a clue who we're going up against. So it is a bit blindsided, and we just really need to focus on what we can do, rather than worrying too much about who we are playing. Do what we do well.
Yourself coming back into the representative fold, you'll have Erin Riley with you in the backcourt once again, even though she's been in overseas eating pasta and pizza for the last 3 weeks. So who knows what kind of shape she's going to come back in, but still some familiarity there for yourself as well, coming back in with Erin.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be good to play with Ez again. We have played a fair bit together, so she'll step back in fine, I'm sure, after a trip. And then with Molly and Rumsey and Cara, obviously the Lakers girls down in the back line as well. We've got some pretty set combinations there which we can work with as well, which is good. Speaking of the Lakers girls, we'll change tack a little bit. Have a look at this week's game against Sebastopol. Pretty big game because Sebastopol are very much, you don't know what to expect from them from time to time.
They are. They're very much improved, and Georgia's done such a great job with those girls. So they are improving every week, I think. So we need to go out and we really need to take our A game to them because they can come out and really push teams. So we need to make sure we're ready for that.
Things going along quite nicely at the Lakers at the moment. You've won your last couple now, really starting to get ahead of steam and poised, if one of those top 3 sides does drop a game, kind of poised to take over that barrier, if you will.
Yeah, we are pretty happy with how we're travelling at the moment. So, and we feel like as a team we're continuing to build as well as the season goes through. So we had a lot of new girls at the start of the year that kind of took a little bit to get those combinations together, but they've really settled in well and into those positions, so we're starting to all gel nicely together at the right end of the season, I think. And obviously, you mightn't have seen it, but a couple of weeks ago we talked about the school holiday curse, as it was, and it affected your game because they had a few people out with the school teachers going over for the school holidays. It was your first BFL game you've missed in your 8 years of the competition.
It was.
What's going on there?
I know, my first one in 8 years. It was tough. I don't miss netball for much. But a school trip to Singapore did sway me that way. 34-degree weather tour compared to the 8 degrees back here kind of got me. Getting out of Ballarat any time in June or July is fantastic. And I suppose they won on the day that you were away against Melton too, so it wasn't any small win. It was very exciting while I was over there to hear that news. Well, Berto, thanks for joining us today. No worries. Best of luck on both Saturday and, of course, on Sunday. We'll be there watching. We'll have all of the updates from the Champions Challenge on the BFNL social media throughout the day, so keep an eye on those. Good luck. Excellent. Thank you very much, Shaun. Thank you very much to Emma Burton, the captain of the BFNL's Regional State League side. Emma Burton from the RSL team and from the Lake Wendouree Football Netball Club, joining us at RSL training. We're here on the couch once again, and we've found someone else to drag in on the couch today as well. Sebastopol defender Rhiannon Banner. Welcome on the couch, Banner.
Thank you. I like it here.
That was very, very nervous and somewhat creepy.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're here, of course, in Rhiannon's home office, so we thought we'd drag her in and get her to help us preview this week's games as I learned to speak English for the first time in quite a while. Rivalry round in the BFNL this week, starting with the game out at Mattingley Park. Bacchus Marsh taking on Darley. Matthew Wiltshire.
It's going to be a good game actually. It's Darley and obviously Bacchus Marsh one in the top 6. They're both struggling a bit so far this year. Bacchus Marsh probably the more struggling side, which is why I'm going to go with Darley. Darley have had a good win in the last couple of weeks over at Dan and just couldn't take it up last week to Sunbury. Yes, correct.
Yes, correct.
Good. Just making sure. So, look, Darley are a lot stronger side, I believe, with Bacchus Marsh still in that development stage, and it'll be in a few years' time, I think. But I think Darley in this one pretty comfortably.
How do you see this one going around?
Yeah, I'll agree with Matt. I think Darley, I still haven't played them, but I think they're a lot stronger than Bacchus Marsh have been showing, their game against Redan, which was the upset. So, I think Darley are going to be too strong in the end.
Look, obviously we praised Darley this time last week for their defensive efforts against Rhiannon. Their defensive efforts were still very good against Sunbury. They were just playing a different level of opposition, I thought, last week. And whilst their defenders were their two better players, Brooke Marshall and Tani Lopes, it didn't quite have the same effect because the mid-court was dominant for Sunbury last week, so they didn't have that same smothering effect. They can get that this week against Bacchus Marsh because they'll have an edge in experience and they'll have a little edge in class, and that should see them over the line. And they'll probably sneak up into the best of the rest spot on 7th on the ladder because as we have a look at the next game, Lake Wendouree taking on Sebastopol, it's going to be a tough task for your team this weekend, Banner.
Yeah, I think so. I think when we played Lake Wendouree our second round, I think they weren't as strong as they have been. They've got a couple of more players back, so yeah, it'll be an interesting game. See how we're going to go as a team, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
How do you see this one going out, Bad?
I think Lake is going to have a good win. So look, Sebas, they're a strong side, but I think Lakers are just really starting to break away from the rest of the pack and getting to them top 3-4 sides. So I'm going to go with Lake Wendouree this one.
You've shown when you put that 4-quarter effort together that you can beat, that you can match sides like Lake Wendouree. You did it against Rhiannon. You only lost to them by 2 goals.
Yeah.
Do you realistically think that you can win this game on the weekend?
I think we can, depending on if we show up or not. I know when we played North Ballarat, we didn't have our full side, so you know our confidence was really low. But yeah, depending on how we go into the game, we'll see how we train tonight. But yeah, when we get there, hopefully we can just get a bit pumped up. I think that's the problem. George is good at that.
Yep, she is.
Yes, but yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Libby Denuden missing last weekend through the centre court, that was a big loss for you as well because she is such a calming influence for your side and obviously such that link person going through the mid-court. Having her back this week is going to be invaluable.
Yeah, last week we really struggled at getting the ball down the court from our defence. So yeah, with Lib back, we have Libby, so without Libby it was quite difficult. I know we had a couple of players come up from A reserve to play and help us out, so not having a full side really made us struggle. So yeah, with her back we'll hopefully come out firing.
Having said that, Lakers for mine, they just showed last week that when they get their full squad in, they're one of the better sides in the league. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You're not allowed to injure anyone this week. There's 5 girls from the Lakers side playing in the RSL on the weekend, so no going out and trying to be a hero. And actually, you played defence. The girls that play in the goals aren't in the RSL side, so go your hardest actually in the end. And of course, Georgia Can, the Sebastopol coach, playing in that RSL side as well. So 6 of our 10 RSL players coming out of that game on the weekend, so be good. Melton taking on Melton South this weekend, the local derby up at McPherson Park. Only 3 goals separated these two sides last time around, Matty. The key players from that game, obviously Mel McCauley shot 60 goals. Not sure if she's going to be back for this one or not. She's been overseas. I was speaking to some Melton people, Jess Bartlett, the other week, and she wasn't 100% sure whether Mel would be back for this game. Andrea Ty was the one that scored all the goals for Melton South last time, and she'll likely be in A&L duty on Sunday as well. So the 2 big shooters probably not going to be there, which could cast a bit of a different ball in this game, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly right. It's going to be a tough one to pick if they both don't have their key shooters in, but I think Melton, with the depth they have, they've shown that without Mel they can still win big games. So I think I'm going to go with Melton on this one. They're a fantastic side, and they're one of the top teams this year, and Melton's side are just struggling a bit, being a bit inconsistent. So Melton are going to have a pretty cruisy win, I think, for this weekend.
Rhiannon?
I think it's going to be a really close game, just because I think it's rivalry. So Melton South always has been. I think Melton South are going to come out firing. They're going to give Melton a really good run. I do think that Melton are going to come over in the end, but yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game.
I think Melton will just be a bit too strong in this one. Just their experience through the court. They brought Elle Bennett's into the side in recent weeks, who's an A&L player herself, who was fantastic throughout the centre court. Obviously, Maddie Carter's doing a fantastic job as well. So they've got a lot of experience with Brooke Thompson, of course, playing in that side as well. So look, I'm tipping Melton in this one. That obviously with the top 3 spot that they want to cement, they're two of the teams in the top 3 playing each other this week, so Melton win this one. They really get a chance to consolidate within that top 2 as well. Those 2 top 3 sides that we mentioned, Rhiannon and Sunbury, taking on each other at the City Oval this weekend in what is undoubtedly the game of the round. This is going to be a ripper, Matthew Wiltshire.
It's going to be a fantastic game, and one that is very hard to tip. I've been thinking about this all day, which one to go with, and I still haven't come to a decision. So
would it help you out if I said Erin Riley's back in this week, as is Amy Elliott?
That does make a big difference, obviously, if the Rhiannon squad having their 2 gun defenders back is going to make a huge difference.
They'll go in at just about full strength this week, Rhiannon.
So it's going to be a very close one. I think I am going to go with, on the spot, Sunbury by 2 goals.
Very good. How do you see this one going, Rhiannon?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to go with the underdogs. I think Sunbury are under the radar a little bit at the moment. They're just kind of, winning games and no one's
So
really
the team that's
noticing.
on the top of the ladder are going clear and flogging everybody are going under the radar.
Yeah, I think. Anyway, we don't really talk about
You're a
them
different cat.
Thank you. No, I do think they kind of just sit there and no one really notices where they are. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Sunbury as well.
I'm going with Sunbury because I'm on a hiding to nothing by going for Sunbury. The Redan girls every week. Ruby Parry still asks me whether I tip Redan every week and gets upset when I don't. But the Redan girls tend to play better when I don't tip them. So I'm tipping Sunbury because I know if Sunbury win, then yay, I got the tip right. And I think, in all honesty, I think they will. The experience they showed last week in the poise, I reckon that will get them over the line. Kate Fletcher's their key link at wing attack, a member of the Yarra Valley Grammar Aerials, who's doing a fantastic job filling in at wing attack while Bruce Stanley's overseas as well. But take nothing away from Redan because every time I tip against them, it kind of fires them up a little bit and wouldn't surprise me at all if they win. But I know how much Sunbury want this game and I reckon they'll take it out. On Sunday, Ballarat taking on North Ballarat City, and this could be quite the interesting contest due to the fact that there could be some pretty big unavailabilities for North Ballarat City in this game. Tani Nestor won't be there because she's playing footy. She is the star of the Redan Victorian Women's Footy League team, mate, no mistake about it. Stacey and Gina McCartan, depending on what happens in the RSL Champions Challenge, if we make it through to the grand final in the RSL Champions Challenge, Stacey and Gina are unavailable for this game as well. It could basically be the 19 and under game just being played at 2:30.
Yeah, no, exactly. Obviously, with Ballarat having most of their 19 under side playing, and North have to bring up a few of their 19 under guns up to play if the two girls can't get back. So it's going to be a very interesting game, one that you wouldn't have thought would happen for Ballarat North City.
Wouldn't have thought.
It's going to be a lot closer than what the ladder would suggest, but I think that North City, with their depth and just how good they actually are as a team, still just missing them 3 players, the rest of their field is still very strong.
Agreed.
And does have it over Ballarat in each of their positions, so I'm going to go with North Ballarat City in this one.
Rhiannon?
Yeah, I think North Ballarat City as well. They didn't have Gina last week, and Stacey is a good player, but with her out as well, I know you might be able to find a centre court who can take over her position. So I do think Ballarat are going to be a good side. They are very strong, even though they're under 19. So I do think that North Ballarat will come out with a win though.
Yeah, I'm tipping North Ballarat City as well. I'm hoping that Stacey and Gina don't play because that means the BFL's through to the grand final. So we're hoping, like hope, that Stacey and Gina aren't playing in this game. But it gives players a chance to shine. They had Hayley Fiddler, who was best on court last week, who's a 19 under pride player that came into the side. They've got players like Zoe Nevitt that's had some A-grade experience. They can bring Eleni Hooper up into the A-grade side. Kelly Richardson's been shooting goals as well. So they've got the options there and they've got the depth. And it should make a difference. They'll get over the line against Ballarat. Probably not overly convincingly, but they'll get the job done well in the end. Thanks for joining us on the couch this week, Banner. It's been great having you here.
No worries, it wasn't far from my office to get here.
Literally about 5 steps from your office to get here.
Yeah.
So as we've got the nice background there. It's a bit of a front because we're not in Ballarat filming this. There's a little secret for you. So good to have you here, Banner. And Matty, thanks for coming on the road, mate.
Yeah, no, it's always worth a trip down, mate. It's always the first time. Always worth it.
Always out, getting out and seeing the adoring public as well. So thanks for joining us on the BFNL Netball Show once again. Thanks to Reeps for producing the show this week as well. Fantastic job done by the young fella in the background. We'll see you again next week.